Okay, today we are gonna fix a non-working outlet. This outlet is not working. We got 3 switches here. This is right on our front entry here. This one controls the light up above there. This one controls the outlet outside. And this one controls, turn it on, the light right there. Okay, so when we moved into this house in 2005, I went ahead and replaced all the plates, replaced all the outlets throughout the house. But this outlet have never worked. Now, I didn't bother troubleshooting it back then because we've got hundreds of outlets throughout the house, and so 10 feet from here is another outlet, so I just never bothered troubleshooting it. But it's been added to my honey-do list. For some reason, the wife, after 15 years here, wants to start using it. Now, I already opened this a couple of days ago, so I kind of figured out, I think I know what the problem is. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the plates for that and the outlet. So I'm gonna take out the cover, and let me just say, if you're a pretty handy guy, you can easily do this, but if you're not familiar with electricity or afraid, don't attempt, because it is electric. But if you shut off everything on the circuit panel, you should be okay. But again, if you're uncomfortable, don't attempt to do this at home. Hire an electrician or somebody that knows how to do it. But it's pretty simple. I'll show you how to do that. So after you take off this cover, see that you got 2 screws, and those are universal. They're all the same. You're gonna see 2 more screws there, and that's the one that secures it to the junction box, which is that metal box up there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and remove those. But before I do this, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off from the circuit breaker. Okay, so I'm gonna test that by pushing this button on, and that light is on. So when I find the breaker for that light should turn off. Hey Jessenies, yeah. Look at this light. I'm gonna trigger some things in the garage. Let me know when it turns off, okay? What light? This light up here. Just let me know, okay? Now, since you're in here, the best thing to do is really, if your main panel is not labeled, you should label it. Mine is not, but I think I kind of know where it is. Is it off? Okay, so it's off. But so we're gonna go ahead and take this off. Now you can test this outlet many different ways. You have all kinds of. You can see, plug that in. I mean, there's no light there at all, so it's not working. Way to test it too is before you work on anything, you can test it out. See, it's green, that means there's no power on it. If it was hot or electricity is flowing to it, it'll be red. I'll show you another outlet. Okay, there's other meters to check to see if it's working at all. Nothing, but you can certainly use a lamp or anything like that to see if it's working. But let me show you what outlets are when it's working using some of these tools. Okay, so here's a working outlet. I just wanted to show you some of these tools. This tool right here determines, if you have electricity flowing through it. So before you start working, okay, see that it's kind of turning red. That means it's a live wire, so don't mess with that until you take it off. And then some of these things that you could measure to see what the electricity is. Show you right there. It's a 110. So there's electricity flowing through that. So I wouldn't work on that unless you turn off the power from the circuit breaker. And then there's these tools also that tells you, how it's wired and everything, but you don't need to know that for what we're doing. But the 2 orange one tells you that it's properly grounded and it's working. All right. So we're not getting that from the other outlets. and no power is flowing through it, so we know that there's no electricity. Okay, so here's the non-working outlet. We have the black wire, which is hot. That's a live one, and then white, which is neutral. And again, I'm gonna test it to make sure no electricity is flowing. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And here's the switch. 3 different switch that controls, the front porch, outside outlet, and this one is for the entry light inside the house. You can see we have 1 black wire there, and that's the hot one that feeds all these 3. Okay, so a couple of days ago, I've noticed in here there's a black wire in here. I had that's capped off. Now let's just test it. That should be off. There should be no electricity flowing. Okay, so that's okay. That's fine. So when I tug on this, that's not connected to anything, I can see that this one's moving. So I'm pretty sure this black wire, this hot wire, is this one, which has no juice flowing through it, right? So the goal is to make this live, and that would mean that we'd have to connect this with this wire, right? But the problem is here, we only have 1 slot here, right? So how do we properly do that? I mean, we can connect the 2 black wires together and put it in here, but like I said, it only has one way to get in here. So what we're gonna do is what they call pigtailing. We're gonna pigtail both of these so that it goes into this one connection. All right, I'm gonna show you how to do that. So I'm gonna clean this up. Okay, I needed my camera assistance to do this. She is a union worker, so she is charging me how much you charge me? $125 an hour. So union electricians are expensive these days, guys, so make sure your assistants, you negotiate the pricing before you shoot some camera. So we need our handy wire stripper. You can do this anyway, easiest way, but I like this because this is the best way without damaging it. So we're gonna basically strip that wire, and again, make sure it's the power's off. And you see how cleanly we can do that, because there's little holes in there that prevents it from cutting into the wiring itself. And then we're gonna go ahead and take this off. Okay, guys, so this is the wire that was connected in here. We're gonna trim that a little bit so that it's same thing, right? Get a wire gauge that's the same. So this is like 12 gauge, all right? And I choose black just so you just be consistent with it. I could be any scrap wires I have, but then at least that way when I move, there's another homeowner goes to the house, they kind of know what that is. So we're just gonna cut a wire like that. We're gonna go ahead and strip this the same way. Okay, so we're just gonna strip that in each end. Same thing. So now we have that, all right? And let me find nut cover. That's what this is. So what we're gonna do, this is called pigtailing. We're gonna connect all these 3 together. Okay, so we've got those 2 connected, and then we have this. This is what's called a pigtail, and that's what we're gonna put in here. But okay, so then we're gonna reinsert that. Should be fine, right? So you see that now? We had the original one plugged in live, and then we took on that 1 wire that goes in here, connected to here, and we pigtailed it to the main hot source, right? So what I like to do is, you don't have to do this, but I always like to take that extra precaution and just tape it. Like I said, you won't see this, but it's just a habit. I like doing this in case this thing pops off from the box, because this is metal. you won't have short. And then at the same time too, it protects it from unwinding, right? One of those extra things that you don't need to do, but so we'll just push that in, right? I'm gonna reconnect all of these. I really didn't have to do anything here, right? So that's again, same thing. This is not necessary, but I like to do this since I'm here anyway and it's dead, right? It's just extra. See all these? Those are the hot wires. It just makes it so that when I put it in there later on, doesn't do anything. So since I'm here, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. Like I said, this is not necessary. A lot of people don't do this, but I like to do it. Just an extra way to protect that. So we're gonna put this in and include the cover on this, and then we're gonna test. Okay, so we got the plate cover back in here. We got the plate cover back on the outlet. As you can see, we just turn on the circuit breaker. Okay. Alright guys, so we're gonna test this for the first time, see if it's working. We should read. I don't know if you can see that light. It is working. 110, see that? It's 110. 110. So this outlet now is working. So that's $150 service call. Being a Sunday today, that's another $100. It's overtime. $25 of materials since I had to buy this gauge. And then $100 because my camera girl over here is a union worker. So your mom owes us $375. So tell her she owes us $375.
Mom, Dad said that you owe him $375.
Tell him I'll deduct that from the $7 million he owes me.
All right, all done. Now, clean up.
Hey!